Yeah, so if you have never done this for the watch party before, every week we watch 2 episodes of a show. Right now we're watching Psycho-Pass. That was chosen by you guys, and now we're talking about it.
Yep.
And it's getting intense.
Intense. It is. We can kick it off with episode 9, and I can't tell. Let's see. I guess we can start with Neto del Toro, who always has really interesting comments. He always writes in, so thank you for that. And he says, we are introduced to my favorite character in the whole show, Mr. Joji Saiga. He embodies everything the Sybil system has been trying to erase, and he proves it just by doing a quick analysis of Akane. The kind of insight that is most precious to any investigator is precisely what turned Saiga-sensei into a reluctant hermit because, as he himself put it, he's grateful for the chance to teach someone again. Plus, he's always drinking coffee, so MVP right there.
Coffee is good.
Coffee is very good. In fact, James looks like he has a mug of it right now.
Tea.
Oh.
Tea. I wean myself back off coffee, but anyway.
So, yes, we also have another comment from Australia's Card, who says, Mr. Saiga reminds me a lot of The Mentalist when he was profiling Akane. Add that confident expression, frugal nature, and rebellion against the current society, and you should have had Simon Baker voice the character to seal the deal.
That's really funny.
Speaking further on Mr. Saiga, his home seems to be based on Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, a prime example of organic architecture where humanity and the environment are in harmony together. Such a home, along with his rejection of holographic technology and other futuristic devices common in the city, reflects Mr. Saiga's desire to stay in touch with the earth and rejection of the current world order.
That's a fan after my own heart. I love me some Frank Lloyd Wright. I have Falling Water on my desk at work, the Lego version.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even know that. I'll have to look at your desk.
Yeah, I know. Now we're going after this.
Yes, it's super awesome. Speaking of humanity and nature being in harmony, this just reminded me of Jean-Jacques Rousseau's Discourse on Inequality, which was mentioned in episode 5. This literature criticizes civil society for forcing humanity to develop reason, create false fronts in search of social acceptance, and lose their natural pity, thus straying away from the reasonless, gentle natural man. This literature also mentioned that the natural man cannot perceive the end of his life. Thus, he does not fear death. Fear of death, therefore, indicates a departure from that state of nature. It's getting deep.
Yeah, I was like, man, this is a good breakdown.
Yeah, it's a really good breakdown. Perhaps that is another reason for why Mr. Saiga seeks to live away from the city and why the cyborg hunter Senguji is so cold. One wishes to accept death, while the other rejects it, thus losing all natural pity for those he kills. And also, Akane wasn't afraid to speak her mind in previous episodes, but way to go! Stand up for yourself and establish your place in the MWPSB.
I love watching Akane's growth, and this is like such an important point in it too. Mm-hmm. When she finally goes and talks to him and like learns about like real investigation. He's just Saiga's like so cool. He's like a very good character. Like just because like everyone's so like imbued in this world, and he's just like, nah.
Yeah,
I'm not here.
But there's so much to dissect with this. You know, like there's certain things that people are picking up that I didn't even notice. I was like, oh man, I didn't even pick up the whole Frank Lloyd Wright thing.
Yeah.
Oops. That's so good.
I'm going to refrain from commenting just why I'm being quiet. It's because I finished the show a long time ago. So I understand the nature of the show, and it kind of it's hard to talk about without.
No, sure, yeah. That's always a problem. Is like you know what's gonna happen, kind of thing. Yeah. And so like, well, episode 9 is like pretty important for growth and for like a new character who is very important to the show, especially for Akane. Episode 10 is the one that's like the one I really want to talk about. Okay,
well let's just move on. So basic summary of that is Akane gets an email from her friend Yuki. She says she wants to talk to Akane about MWPSB. It's hard to say. Yeah. Case in person ends. Specifies a time and place to meet. Unable to contact Yuki after that, Akane enlists Kogami's help in investigating what happened to Yuki.
Good idea.
Yes.
A very good idea. It's also like, oh, maybe we should call back up. Nah, it's like, this is obviously a trap, but we're just going to go in by ourselves anyway.
It's fine. What can go wrong?
Yeah. So Tyler DeBoer says, Akane receives a message from her friend that afterwards isn't contactable. Kagami goes with her to the enclosed location in case it's a trap, obviously. As Kagami investigates, interference makes him lose Akane's oversight. Kagami gets whisked off a train and finds Akane's friend inside captured. Kagami easily figures out the trap laid for him, and with the train stopping, it's him and Yuki as the hunt begins. This is the cool one because like there's this guy hunting them down in his weird a labyrinth of death traps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's so disgusting to think that he just hunts people.
Yeah.
With these crazy dogs.
Man is the deadliest game.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what this episode is a reference to. It's like the classic story. But, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Megan Murphy says, now it's the cyborg huntress Senguchi going after the wolf. However, just as Rikako predicted before her death, Makishima is starting to toy and test Senguchi. The episode is titled Methuselah's Game. Thank you. In reference to Methuselah, who, from the Old Testament biblical literature, is a man said to have lived until the age of 969 years old, dying 7 days before the great flood that God used to reset the earth. What could this title allude to? All of Makishima's little puppets before now held Makishima in reverence as if relevance doesn't make sense. Reverence as if he were a higher power over them. Metaphorically, a god who sees all, considering his ability to easily hack the system and his sovereign hand in using evil to reset the world. Continuing this metaphor, Senguchi would be Methuselah, an old man of many years and of wisdom, being tested and punished by God before God decides on a reset or not. Makishima seems easily bored of his puppets. Who knows how long Senguchi will last? Being parallel to Methuselah could mean, regardless his age, Senguchi's life is fated to end. Life too is fated to end. But yeah, yes,
That's deep. That's deep
That's
stuff.
really good picking apart those things. I almost always forget to read the titles of episodes.
I do
and
too.
Sometimes I actually just try not to because some of them get a little too hinty at what's going to happen.
But sometimes, I mean, if they do it smartly, you can, it can be, a false flag or, just misleading in the right way where it's just, you think it's going to happen, and it's nope, just kidding. It actually meant it about another character.
I do like the ones, though, that are vague, and you're like, I don't know what this is supposed to mean, and then you get to the end of the episode, and you're like, that's how it ties in.
Yeah, so, ReZero was really good about that, too, and that they would flash the episode title at the very end of the episode, too, and be like...
And it's usually after usually after a point where you're like, here's the thing, here's the episode title, then you're like, oh, yeah.
It's always interesting that we kind of keep bringing up this thing of Makishima be kind of this godlike character who has all these puppets, and we've seen a few of them already,
right?
And it's just kind of interesting to see the other ones he picks up along the way too. And this is definitely one of my favorites because he doesn't seem like he'd be a good candidate for papacy at this point because he just is a very wealthy, knowing man, and to be played like this is interesting.
Yes, it is.
But
I
kind of forget where this episode ends because I also watched 11 and I forgot how it ends, so I'm trying not to spoil what happens next because what's next is really good.
Yeah,
it's so important.
Yeah, but I love that this show gets consistently better and consistently deeper.
Yeah.
There's so much to look into, and I love that you guys are writing in and picking up these things and are dissecting them in these brilliant ways where I'm like, wow.
I think this, and we were talking about Ghost in the Shell earlier, are a reflection of shows that have picked up on, that are very much rooted in Japanese culture, but also picked up on Western stuff in terms of making references to things that are outside of Japanese culture, like Methuselah and all those things, and bringing in all that mythology and everything.
The entirety of Berserk.
Yeah. Entirety of it. But specifically for me, I'm a huge cyberpunk fan, and this world is so well realized and so and that they're focusing on the outliers of this world, but after establishing all of it and why that's interesting and all these characters that have to live within it. I think it's just
right. It's this whole through line, this commentary, right, on humanity and humanity's flaws, and every time we try to fix those flaws, it just seems to make it worse for people. Constantly fighting our nature and trying to control our nature, and
trying to find peace and whether or not control is a good thing, absolute control over a country in this weird mental way too.
Yeah, the things that you give up on a personal level when there is total control, when you give yourself to that, and then.
But we're seeing, the results of, is this just not futile? Is this just not somehow weirdly making it worse? Yeah. You've got this complete psychopath who thinks he's a god. He's using people as puppets, and it's we didn't really fix the problem, did we here?
Yeah. I'm just really excited to get to the end because God, like the reveals for all of this is so good.
It's fantastic.
So get ready for the next episodes, 11 and 12.
Yes.
And you guys can always write into us on our Facebook group or our email, which again is IGN_Anime Club at IGN.com. And the Facebook group again is Facebook.com/group/IGN Anime Club.
Yes.
So look forward to hearing from you guys. And I hope you're enjoying the show so far.
Yes, I am certainly enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that everyone chose it because I got like 6 or 7 episodes in, dropped it for some reason. I think I just didn't have time. And I'm like, yes, now I can finally figure out what happens.
Yeah, this is one of those shows, like you guys were talking about last week, that I like to rewatch. So
yes,
it's pretty cool.
Very cool.